Do your phone call. You started the show starting right now. Just start. What are you doing? Here, go.
I'm looking up Jocko's number.
What happened?
I don't know if I have it.
Where is he?
Where is he? You sent him a link.
Mm-hmm. Did he get it?
Obviously, he didn't get it because he just sent me a thing saying, "Are we doing this?"
Yeah. I think Scott got the link.
Scott got the link. I mean, you sent it to Scott and Jocko and us at the
Well,
same
Jocko
time.
forwarded the link to Scott.
So where is he?
Because I didn't know Scott. I knew Jocko. Who's on first, Corey?
Where is Jocko?
This is a show, Corey.
I don't have his phone number.
Corey, you gave me his phone number in an email. I didn't know Jocko. I didn't know Jocko.
Oh, damn it. Hold on. Let me look that up.
Corey, you're damaging the brand right now. Corey Levington Show. Miranda. This is how we start the show?
I'm looking for an email, a message I sent you. I could have sent it 1,000 ways.
Miranda, this is how we start the show?
This is how we start the show. Good morning.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here with Stephen and all his friends.
We have a great show coming on. All right, I'm going to help you out, Corey. You handle stuff over there. Miranda, you remember the movie Grease?
I do.
Yeah. There was a band that was huge. They played Woodstock, huge. And it was a big, big thing for me when I was a kid. And they had their own TV show, Sha Na Na. They'd end up the song with Good Night, Sweetheart. Good night, sweetheart. And it was all the music I love, the 50s and all that stuff. Sha Na Na, right here.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sha Na Na. So Corey today is good friends with one of the guys from Sha Na Na, Jocko. But the problem is I never knew these guys. When Corey told me he's friends with Sha Na Na, I go, really? We got to get them on. Because I'm Jocko. But meanwhile, Corey over here, he's like, where's Jocko?
I don't know where the number is. I have no idea where it is.
All right. But anyway, the show is going to be a great show if we could get it together right now because we're live. And then I could edit this out and I'll air it at 6 a.m. in the morning for us. So right now, for everybody watching out there in YouTube World Live, this is live. Then we're going to take it off and I'll edit it out and I'll rebroadcast at 6 a.m. because you guys get to witness the live show right now. This is what I'm going to start doing. 10 a.m. we record live, but then I'm going to start at 6 a.m. rebroadcasting them and you'll get to see them because we are going to switch the show to 6 a.m. just to let you guys know out there in YouTube world. Right, Miranda?
Absolutely.
And two gentlemen from Sha Na Na coming out here, Screamin Scott. Did you know he wrote Sandy from Grease? The lyrics.
I love that segment of the movie, that whole part of the movie. It's the best back and forth. I love it.
Mm-hmm. So, and they were also in the movie Grease as the band. Miranda, I'm sure you used to think you were Olivia Newton-John when you were a little kid. And did you ever sing?
I was Rizzo.
You were Rizzo.
I was straight up way more honest about it. I was Rizzo.
While we're doing the show, look at this guy. Listen.
Hey, Jocko, it's Corey from the show. Are you coming on? We're waiting for you.
I'm trying to get on. I'm not getting there. I needed. That's why I wanted to try it at 9:30 in the morning. What do I do to get to you?
You click on the.
All right. Well, Corey's he's doing a good job right there, everybody. So there we go. So anyway, I like the backstage stuff. The backstage. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Rizzo was your thing, huh?
I just like that she was honest. I mean, I don't think I might have come into the world knowing more than I should have, and I just think she was wise to it. She might have been jaded, but that's okay. I'm all jaded. We're all jaded.
No, Rizzo was great. I wanted to be Danny Zuko, but when I was a little kid, I went to a camp called Camp Naukus in Brooklyn.
Were you a camp kid?
I was not really a camp kid, but they did a Broadway. We did like a show, and one of them was Grease, and I got voted to be the character Duty, and I was very upset about Duty. I don't want to be Duty. Duty ADIKA. When I was a little kid, Duty ADIKA. I wanted to be like Kaniki. A hickey from Kaniki is like a Hallmark card. Remember that?
I do.
I wanted to be like Danny Zuko. Hey, Sandy. I could have been a good Danny Zuko. But instead, they want me to be Duty ADIKA. So how I got the gig was people singing, and how I got that gig. I wasn't really singing; I was lip singing, and because all the kids were singing, I would try to sing like Paul McCartney, but they thought I was only singing. And then they want me to sing that song, "Those Magic Changes." What's that playing on the radio? I didn't get the gig once they heard the tone. The tone of ADIKA killed the gig. But now we get to hear about all this good stuff and the real stories behind the movie, behind Sha Na Na. They played Woodstock, the TV show, which they actually had the Ramones on their TV show. A lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of history. It was a big thing for me. Leventon?
You need to hit the link.
Nervous?
If you want,
Are you nervous?
What I can do is I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link via your phone.
Yeah, good job, Leventon.
I'm gonna hang up.
He's doing a good job, everybody. He's doing a good job. Miranda, he's doing good, right?
He's doing the best he can.
Let's say hello to a couple people here. We're going to bring Scott up in a second right here. But Alice, good to see you. Jackie, I see you. Kim is here. Oh, look, Kim Fry, right there. Look what she just wrote. Grease is one of my favorite movies.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie, Kim. Let's talk to Corey. Good morning, Mary Jane. Oh, look at that.
Hello, Mary Jane.
So let's bring up Leventon. Leventon, how you doing, buddy? What's going on?
I'm doing fine. Jacko is a genius of music, not of which browser he has.
Corey, your wife is writing to you.
See what I'm working with over here.
Yeah. So what's going on? Is he doing okay, Jacko?
For some reason, Safari doesn't like StreamYard.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Got to use Chrome. Says so on the email.
Google Chrome.
Well, he doesn't know what he has and where it is, and so yeah, it's that.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do right now? We're going to get Jocko
Generation
here.
gap.
We're going to bring Jocko here, but really quick, we got to bring Screamin Scott up here right now. You know what? Let's bring him in here. He's back there waiting for us. Screamin Scott, you are here.
I'm here. I'm back here. I'm way back here.
Oh, my God.
Back here.
He's here.
I'm in here. I'm over here.
Scott. Oh, yeah.
This is, by the way, my Santa Cruz. I just want to feature this for 1 second.
Yeah.
We have a D team. They represented the Oakland team in the minor leagues of basketball, the Santa Cruz. I forget what they're called.
Opening night.
Are they Santa Cruz Slugs?
I'm sorry?
Are they the Slugs?
No, they're not the
Oh,
Slugs.
okay.
They might be called the same as the California. What? They were the biggest team in the NBA for.
Miranda, who? Who? The Lakers?
I'm not California sports.
You're not?
No, I'm
Golden
Southern
State
sports.
Warriors. The Golden State Warriors. Is that right?
Miranda, do you know?
Golden State Warriors is the biggest the biggest basketball team for sure.
Well, this was their minor league team, also called the Warriors.
This is the worst sports podcast ever.
It's bad. I know there is a Southern California team called the Slugs.
Here's the problem with me. I'm Jewish, and Jews don't play sports. We own the teams.
Jews don't camp.
We don't camp. No, I can't camp. No, there's no way. I'm not even a good sports guy. Miranda is the sports lady. I'm
the sports guy.
With Wilson, what happened to the Seahawks?
You can't always have an up year, and besides, Mahomes is running it with the Chiefs, right? Or not the Chiefs? The Chiefs. Yeah, Mahomes is on it.
Mitch Weissman.
It's all up to date. Santa Cruz Warriors. Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you. It is the Warriors. Good job, Mitch.
That's it. That's it.
Woody Allen is more of a Jew than either of us combined, and he goes to every Knicks game.
Yeah.
Every Knicks game.
Every Knicks game. So
all right. You got me on that one, Leventon. You got me on that one. Let me fix my mic. I was talking to Scott. Make sure my mic is good over here. Oh yeah, my mic's not even good.
That's for Scott. Okay, now we're back.
There's your mic.
There's my mic. It's back. Okay, so we got Scott here. Scott and I were talking before you got here, Corey, and I'm glad you're on your game, your A game. But Scott, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for spending the morning with us. And this is an awesome show for me because, first of all, Scott, Sha Na Na was a huge, huge thing in my life. And we were talking about everything, Grease, everything that Scott did. Scott, the whole Sha Na Na thing, how did you guys start how did you get involved with them? First of all, what was your situation?
Santa Cruz Warriors?
UC Santa Cruz
Oh, there
Slugs.
she goes.
Okay, the D League Santa Cruz Warriors. I am Banana Slugs?
Yes, I was right.
That's UC. Okay,
UC Santa Cruz.
You're off the hook. This is a
Thank you.
This is a professional team.
Oh, I see that you've got the
minor league
professional team. Yes, I was talking
The
about the
minor
college team.
league team in the what used to be called the D League, and now it's called something else.
I didn't know there was a D League.
I didn't even know there was. I didn't even know who they were. The Santa Cruz. I'm just acting like I know what's going on here.
Miranda's like us, Steph, and she has to be right so bad she will interrupt the show to prove it.
I know. It's like my wife. My wife. You know, my wife.
Miranda, I can't remember the question anymore.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. We're talking about the Sha Na Nas, and
Sha Na
I'm an
Na.
asshole. And I'm really sorry about that.
Let's go back to the sports. Let's go. Hold on. Miranda's husband is a doctor on our show on our Friday show, so she's allowed. She's married to a guy who graduated. Okay, Miranda. Go
I
ahead.
graduated.
All right, Corey.
Which leads to the answer to your question, by the way, Steph.
Yeah.
Which is that a group of undergraduate glee clubbers, Columbia University was King's College. So there was a Whiffenpoofs at Yale. At Columbia, the double male octet a cappella group was called the King's Men, not to be confused with the Louie Boys from Seattle, the King's Men.
Uh-huh.
And one of their older brothers, among the things they did, how long do you want this story to last?
I want to let it go.
As long as it takes for Jocko to get on, so
Keep going.
45 minutes.
This is Scott.
Okay, this is the MS. This is the MS, my friend.
Yeah.
The MS is this. There was a guy at Columbia in the middle 60s, Ed Goodgold. And Goodgold and Dan Karlinski, were a team that invented college trivia. Before Trivial Pursuit, there was this thing called trivia that went back into the Lone Ranger and serial. It was a contest for Ivy Leaguers, and Columbia University, as some people know, is in the Ivy League. People think it's just Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, but we're right in there. So all these guys are at Columbia, including Goodgold Kurlinski, and they would host the Ivy League International Trivia Contest and invite the King's Men to come sing Little Darling, oh little darling.
Yeah.
And in the still, to lend some communality to the endeavor, which is let's look at the 50s again.
Yeah.
Let's look at our youth. Boomers. It was a boomer thing.
The boomer thing there.
So Ed Goodgold wrote several books about this. I mean, if you look up Ed Goodgold, but he, in any case, one of his mentees, is a guy named George Leonard, who's the key name in the Sha Na Na history because he thought up the group. Somebody did think this up. George did. And in 1969, after the Columbia Revolt of 68 that led to the Paris Revolt of 68, the Berkeley, all of these college revolts. In 69, here we are, and we have the same tension on campus between the pukes, hippies, and the jocks with the crew cuts who would go buy their pot from the hippies, but had to publicly hate the hippies and call them pukes. So George promoted an event. He said, I want to bring the Kingsmen in, bring a band in behind them. That's when they brought in Jocko, who wasn't in the Glee Club as the drummer. Bruno, who wasn't in the Glee Club as the bass player. Henry Gross from Brooklyn, New York, who didn't go to Columbia, went to Brooklyn College, but was a friend of the original piano player, Joe Whitkin. Okay, they're all Columbia guys. These are short-haired guys wearing blue blazers and singing, "Hail to thee, our alma," like straight guys. So George came in and said, and had a flyer that he created the first event, The Glory That Was Greece. Go back into your closet, pukes. Go back into your closet, jocks. And let's get back to our communality. It's a very modern, this is happening right now in this country. We need to go back into our closets and find when we had communality. And what we had it was the music of the 50s. And not the big stars, not necessarily Elvis, Pat Boone. We love those guys.
Yeah.
But let's do Ramalama Ding Dong, Book of Love, the Monotones, One Hit Wonders, Blue Moon, the Marcells. We're going to do, our repertoire is going to be doo-wop. And we are in crossword puzzles, and we've been in more crossword puzzles than any musical act in the history of crossword puzzles, because Blank Na Na doo-wop group. Right, Miranda?
Absolutely. I've been doing crosswords since I could write. So this is true story. That is why I know what the Sha Na Nas are.
The Sha Na Na's.
I'm so excited to have that confirmed by someone who has no idea who we are except Blank Na Na.
Well, yeah, and Greece. I mean, but I had to.
Well, that's the right. Grease touched everybody. But
Yeah.
as far as our career at the Fillmores, our career at Woodstock, which is a film, our career at Festival Express 1970, which I hardly remember. I'm somewhere in here.
Yeah.
I'm one of these guys, the guy down there.
It's great.
In any case, Miranda wouldn't know us from Woodstock. You probably never heard of Woodstock.
I
Have
do
you
know
seen
what
the
Woodstock
movie?
is.
Did you see the movie?
I did not see the movie, but I did read the, poem.
Sha Na Na was in
Back
the
to the
movie
garden.
for a minute and 26 seconds.
That's right.
Staying
That's
at the
right.
hop.
That's huge.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're not getting Chaco today.
Just
But-
Jocko right there.
Whoa,
Jocko.
whoa.
Corey,
Jocko's here, Corey. He's right
why?
there.
Why do you always get this wrong?
Is
I
the
mean-
audio only?
I mean,
Yeah,
let's-
it's audio only.
yeah. Jocko, you just got to fix. You just call him up on the phone, Corey, and get him to
right.
work his cam on. Help work it out. You're doing a good job, Corey. Corey really knows. Thank God we're not a serious show. You know, Corey.
All right.
What do I always
Chaco,
call
you got to get off with your phone, and I'll work you through
Yeah,
it.
work him through. Just help. Go ahead, Corey. Help Jocko. All right. We'll put Jocko backstage. He's there. He's sorry, son. Look at this over here. We got all the craziness here going on.
He was in the original group. I wasn't. Joe Whitkin was a piano player at Woodstock.
Now, when you and Rich,
Over to 1970,
okay,
spring of 1970, the band has played at Columbia, the glory that was Grease, drew a huge crowd at Woolman Auditorium, people dressed in 50s clothes. George Leonard choreographed them, went to the costume houses on Broadway to get gold lame suits from Bye Bye Birdie, worn by the three gold lame dancers. And this is a 12-man show. It's a big performance. 2 months later, at the end of the year, Grease Under the Stars. And again, a live show on Low Library steps, and people came out. And then they got a job at Steve Paul's Scene over the summer of '69. Hendrix came in nightly, said, "These guys are the greatest. Let's get these guys to Woodstock." And brought on the very last night before Steve Paul's Scene was shut down by the mafia
wow.
because they weren't paying their bills. They brought the promoters who said, "We'll pay you $600. Come up to this festival in Bethel, New York." They paid the group $300 on the check bounce. But the point is, they got that minute and 26 seconds of At the Hop just before Hendrix went on Monday morning. Hendrix said, "My boys got to go on." And you'll see Hendrix in outtakes sitting in the wings enjoying the group because he was, 25 years old. It was really his music.
Yeah.
We were kids. We were little kids in the 50s. 57 when Elvis was huge. I was 8. I wasn't 16. So our target demographic, people that graduated high school in 58. We graduated high school in 66. Okay, so we're like going back to this era that we grew up with as kids, trying to be faithful to the music, but presenting humorous and choreographed renditions for entertainment value. At the same time, the Jefferson Airplane, who we did play with from time to time, would turn their backs. They'd play like this. No, seriously. You came to see the Jefferson Airplane. They didn't want to see you. They wanted to hide out.
Wow.
And performance art, and you and I were talking about this earlier, Stephan, Alice Cooper,
Mm-hmm.
David Bowie. We invented those groups. because we brought theater into rock and roll. We didn't really invent those groups, but we did bring theater to rock and roll.
Yeah,
I was going to say, an interesting thing. Chaco's calling me.
Jocko was just backstage, so let him do what tell him to do what he's doing. Make sure the camera and mic are on. Cause I saw his face. I was about to roll him in. I just didn't want to interrupt. Scott, I wanted the show to run smooth and professional.
If you see him with his face, get him the fuck
All
in here.
all right. Go ahead. You're my producer. Go. Get him back on. Don't leave the screen. Go. You like this, Scott? This is a fun show, huh? This is the wackiest show that you ever been in your life. Right now, this is it. Woodstock to this schmuck stock right here. Schmuck stock.
I have to think about that. I've been in the business 50 years, so I have to think about that. Miranda appreciates.
I do.
How many mental files I'm now leafing through.
I really do.
So we did an Artie. Oh God, who was the guy on the Goldie Hawn show? Little Artie. Oh man.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, was it like the Laugh? What was the name of
Laugh-In?
that show? Yeah,
Laugh-In?
Laugh-In. Yes.
Artie.
What is it? Artie Shore? Was it? No. What Artie? No. What was his name? Hold on. I think Jocko's here. Let's see if he's coming in.
Anyway,
is it short, the blonde guy? Like a short blonde guy. Here's Jocko.
Redhead.
There's Jocko. We got Jocko. There he is.
Yay!
Scott, you know that guy, right?
I know him in profile.
Yeah. All right. Well I got.
So do we right now.
Well, at least he's here. At least we got Jocko. Was he? He's
Artie Johnson.
Artie Johnson. He was the short guy. He had the glasses. Yes.
Artie Johnson had a kids show in Detroit, and we were playing in Detroit, and we get a call from Artie.
Yeah.
Said, hey, come on my show. We went on the show, and that was wackier than this. Okay. Artie with the kids show was wackier than this.
We're gonna get it together. Go call. I like the show like this. Jocko's back. Jocko's here. Corey, watch this. Wait, hold on, Scott. Hold on 1 second.
There he is.
Get him, Jocko.
Welcome, Willkommen.
Oh. Can you hear us, Jocko?
I see him very well. Jocko always was like the tough guy of Sha Na Na. That's the guy you don't want to mess with.
Still, he's in a series of still.
Breaking up.
He is
Yeah,
breaking
he
up.
can
That
hear
is
you.
true.
Yeah. You don't mess with Jocko, Corey. He's gonna get you. I was always scared of Jocko because remember when the Ramones were on Sha Na Na, he grabbed Marky Ramone by the jet. He grabbed him. I'll never forget that. He grabbed him. And he was like the tough guy of Sha Na Na. Everybody had their character, but he was like, you don't mess with Jocko.
Right. He would be the first guy on stage, and the first thing he would do when Sha Na Na was introduced was have a cigarette,
Yeah.
lit.
Oh yeah.
He's like the Fonz. Look at him right here. Look at this. This is a great picture of you guys. I'm gonna show.
We predated the Fonz by 4 years.
That's right. That's right. Look at this right here. There. Look at Jocko. There. Look at Screamin Scott. Look.
It's fantastic.
This is a great picture.
Yeah, my hairline is not great, but everything else is good.
Nah, it's a great
Who
photograph.
needs hair?
I know it is. It is.
That's a great pic.
I was
So
at
none of this would have
a
happened.
rooftop in New
I'm
York.
not gonna spend any more time. I don't think his signal is.
Okay, hold on, Corey. Hold on. I want Screamin Scott. And you just said something because you were before the Fonz, before Happy Days, even before Grease. I mean, you guys really took that era of music because now you're in the flower power. The hippies are coming in, and here's Sha Na Na at Woodstock. You're bringing in something back. You're bringing the originals, the doo-wop, all that.
It had gone away. They were one-hit wonders, and everything was the disposable culture. I got a hit. I'm Bobby Vinton. I got a hit.
Yeah, they were forgotten. They were forgotten, especially what was going on, especially when the Beatles came around. Even though the Beatles grew up with that music, it all went around. And then
What happens with Freddie Cannon? What happens with Frankie Avalon? What happens with all the people that were guests on our TV show?
Yeah.
Chuck
Yeah.
Berry included, Bo Diddley.
Chuck Berry, which there was a movie and which Let the Good Times Roll was one of the first records I had as a kid. It was that movie that they made. They didn't put Chuck in it.
60th birthday.
Yeah.
when he had a fight with Keith. Because
That was the other one, Hail Hail Rock and Roll, when he had
Hail Hail, that's the one I'm thinking.
Yeah, Let the Good Times Rolls in the early 70s. Ralph Nader, I think, put that on.
Not Ralph.
What's the name? No,
Ralph Nader.
not Ralph Nader. I'm being like Corey. Richard
go
Nader.
ahead.
Richard Nader. I'm sorry. My mind. Richard Nader, not Ralph Nader. Well, Ralph probably was his cousin. Everybody has a cousin.
Ralph is even older. Ralph's a Sinatra fan. Probably.
Yeah.
Ralph's probably 82.
But Sha Na Na, you guys are bringing back that teaching the young kids again.
Stefan, is they were bringing back a music of older people, but they were young. They did basically the same thing as Stray Cats did.
Yeah.
15 years later.
Yeah.
They were the first ones. They started the 50s revival.
Oh, yeah.
1969.
Without us, there's no Stray Cats. But I have to say one thing for the Stray Cats. They produced original music. We did not produce original oldies. We produced original oldies and tried to play them like the record. Stray Cats were taking rockabilly as a trio and having Stray Cat Blues and having these songs were original songs.
Yeah, they took the 145 route and they put their Eddie
Jocko.
Cochran touch on it and all that stuff. Here, Corey, I'll let you take
Hey,
control.
Jocko, can you hear us? Can you hear me? No, I guess not. Well,
I like the Corey show. The Corey show's a good show. You take care of Jocko. Me and Scott are going to talk a little bit with Miranda for a second. Go ahead, Corey. We're here.
I think that you should ask him about Jimi Hendrix, because none of this would have happened without Jimi Hendrix.
Well, now I want to ask.
They weren't going to be on the show until Jimi Hendrix insisted.
Well, I said all that.
Yeah.
Corey.
Oh, you did? I was off trying to help Jocko.
No, I know. You were busy.
It's like me and Richard and Ralph Nader.
All right, I'll let you guys have your show. I'll go teach Jocko.
No, it's like me and Richard and Ralph Nader. Any Nader makes a movie these days. All the Naders are the same. Any Nader.
Ralph Nader started with the Corvair. Ralph Nader's first claim to fame was outing the Corvair as unsafe at any speed. That's Ralph Nader.
You guys, Sha Na Na, you guys did a great version of Remember Then. Great. I had that on.
That was a Glee Club. Again, that first album,
Mm-hmm.
you could really hear the Glee Club and these guys singing 4-part harmony very precisely. There was nothing greasy about that album.
No.
It was very kind of, it was not a big hit. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And then Whitkin left my chair open, and I auditioned and got in April of 70. And the composition changed from students to, he was a pre-med guy going to medical school. The next guy was the guy that sang At the Hop in the Woodstock movie, Alan Cooper, went to the Jewish Theological Seminary, grad school. All these guys went to grad school. Bruno, the bass player, PhD in English, teaching statistics stack. Look up the original Sha Na Na members who were at Woodstock. They have the most graduate degrees of any rock and roll group in the history of rock and roll. They were Columbia students. They were Ivy Leaguers. So were we, but we had no idea what we were going to do with our futures except want to be musicians.
Yeah.
So we became musicians and entertainers. And then they'd fall away. The bald Elvis, Scott Powell, his group name was Tony Santini. Called up after 1980. The TV show was now out of production. Said, I'm going to go become a eye surgeon or something. I mean, no, he became a trainer, osteopath. Curlin Job hired him, and he trained the women's gold medal winning soccer team in 1996. Scott Powell, also known as Tony Santini, became a Dr. Scott Powell.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. Picture that,
I feel like this is a seance, and we're trying to summon Jocko, and we're almost...
You're missing the whole show, Corey. You really are.
I am. I'm not going to go...
Scott has the best stories here. You didn't know. Now, all these guys that you're playing in front of it, especially when you had the TV show, and when Sha Na Na was, now you got your TV show and all that good stuff. Did you encounter the John Lennons, the fans of the music? You know,
Did you say John Lennon?
Jonko stood behind John Lennon when he sang "Give Peace a Chance" on Madison Square Garden. Did you know
I
that?
didn't know that.
He sat in front of him when he sang in 1972. Geraldo Rivera, Jerry Rivers. Don't tell Jerry I told you.
He
his
was
real-
Jerry Rivers, yeah.
He was Jerry Rivers. But our kids
West
went to the same-
Islip High School.
our kids went to the same high school in LA,
Yeah.
so I got to cut him a break. Harvard Westlake. Anyway, Geraldo Rivera was tight with John Lennon. And Geraldo Rivera's big claim to fame before his ABC, he was a local ABC guy, Willowbrook. Do you remember that?
Yeah, in Staten Island.
Yes. And there was a huge scandal because Willowbrook was a place where they sent, I guess, challenged kids and orphan kids. And it was run like an 1890s hellhole
Mm-hmm.
in
It
Staten
was a
Island.
mental institution.
I'm sorry.
It was a mental institution
Okay, but for kids or just for everybody?
for everyone, as far as I knew.
Okay, but anyway, it was he did a Eyewitness News.
Expose.
He broke in.
Thank you.
He basically broke into the gate and just had the camera show the conditions, and people were living in their own feces.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
It was I remember that expose. It was a big
It was
thing.
a big deal. It was bigger than his Al Capone vault.
It really was.
Yeah.
It was just the Al Capone.
This interview is bigger than his Al Capone vote.
It was big. And so he approached John Lennon in 72. I think this is all in 72. Said, let's do a benefit for Willowbrook. And, just between us guys. And we'll make it an ABC TV show, and that's how we'll get it funded. And we'll bring in Phil Spector to sit in the truck to do the audio mix live.
Wow.
Phil, okay, you got John and Yoko and Elephant's Memory at the time. Do you remember them? They were a Bronx band. They were guys from the Bronx.
Saxophone. He had a whole big band, Lennon. Yeah.
Yeah, he had about a 6-piece band, sax, and the whole thing. And so they booked Madison Square Garden on a summer's night, and we got to do 2 shows because we got to make the money back. ABC, but they want a test show in the afternoon. It's like any of these things, they want 2 passes. 4 p.m. show, 8 p.m. show. John, who do you want on the show with you? Because you're only going to do an hour, and this has to be a 3-hour show. So we need 3 other acts to do 40 minutes each. And then we'll have a nice TV show hour featuring you for 20 minutes and these other acts for 10 minutes apiece. So he said, Stevie Wonder. Boom. Network approved Stevie Wonder. No problem. Superstition. Hello. Roberta Flack. Let's get Sha Na Na. They're kind of fun. We got a call from freaking John Lennon. Will you be on my show at the Garden? Where do I sign? Okay, we're the opening to all these other acts. But the last thing that happened at the 4 p.m. show was John puts on a leather jacket, and Elvis was his god. He really wanted to be Elvis, playing hound dog. And we go, it's the last song of the show. We'll just join the band. We'll all filter on back onto the stage for the big finale. And it was like haphazard kind of thing. And when that show was over, Phil Spector came back to our dressing room. He said, God, you guys play these songs too fast. I produced most of these songs. Will you slow down? I said, Phil, this is the way we play these songs. Anyway, it's not musical, guys. I need it for the truck. Okay. Think about that recording. The end of the late show, the stage manager comes to us and says, before John even goes on, he says, stay around because at the end, we want everybody to come up for that nice, big like at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where everybody comes up. We want you all on stage. Fine. So we come on the stage. There were 2 Wurlitzer pianos stage left. Yoko's sitting at one like this. You see my feet?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And she's playing like this, literally. Just, I mean, in keeping with her singing, her playing was as good as her singing. No offense, Yoko. And John and she travel out throughout New York in a woody station wagon, so they look like an old couple from Connecticut when they drove around the street. From the Dakota to wherever they were going, they had a green woody station wagon, a Chevy 1974. I mean, it was just like...
We know who purchased that. We actually know the guy who purchased that.
Wait, let him finish. Let him finish the
Go
story.
ahead, finish
Corey.
No, but I love the confirmation. Yes, this was like a historic car.
Yeah.
So, Hound Dog, Elephant's Memory, Stevie Wonder, Roberta Flack, all the Sha Na Na guys going nuts, looking for camera time. And
Yeah.
Yoko's bored stiff out of him. So she's obviously flailing away. Thank God they took... I sit down at the other Wurlitzer, which he had played Imagine on. And thank God they took her out of the monitor. Otherwise, really horrible. So she gets her feet under her a minute and a half into Hound Dog, just off stage into the car. She's done. She's ready to go. John, you know how big the Madison Square Garden stages are. 40 feet wide, 50 feet wide. He's stage right. I'm as far as you can be stage left, where Yoko had been sitting. He looks over at our side of the stage and goes, because the music's playing, I can't hear him. And I say, puts down his guitar, walks off stage. The band's still playing, the music's still going. I see the corrugated door opening and their car with them in it. It's gone. They're gone.
The Griswolds. They left the building.
He really had left the building.
He really left the building. That was the last time he played the. Is that the last show? Is that the last?
No,
time
I think he had one more with Elton John.
He played with Elton, yeah, in '74.
Oh, okay. So that was before the Elton John thing. So that was okay.
72.
So the last 2 gigs Lennon played were at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 38 gigs that Billy Joel played were at the Garden. But that's
Now, you think Lennon? You think he wanted? You think they got into the car and they got into an argument? Like, this is Sha Na Na. I wanted to play the songs with the guys. No, he was just like following Yoko. Like, okay, Yoko. You don't think?
Let's not speculate on what they said to each other.
I know.
I think Miranda totally gets this.
Yeah, I like to make up stories in my head. Like, oh, I get to play with Sha.
Don't go there. Don't.
I know, but I want to know. I get to
Not
play with
unless
Sha
you're
Na
making
Na.
it into a script and
I
like
know.
shooting
There's
it and
no
then
happy ending to that story.
No.
Hey, Scott,
No.
didn't they do? Wasn't the last song they did "Give Peace a Chance" on stage though, or is that just for the one?
No,
of
no,
the-
Hound Dog. I'm telling you, I was there.
Okay.
It was Hound Dog, huh?
Well,
That was it.
That's what he was so comfortable wearing a black leather jacket, singing Hound Dog. He was just the happiest guy in the world. And Yoko had to go.
She had to go. The wife has to go. Maybe they had to go grocery shopping. She had to go.
It was time to go.
Time to go. It's time to go. Parties. It's like me and Amber. When my wife says it's time to go.
I'm going
time
to
to go.
plug a book. I'm going to plug a book now, Stefan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Compiled by Marley Brandt, Tales of the Rock and Roll Highway, available for 50 cents used on what is Amazon or whatever that one of those giant things is. Tales of the Rock and Roll Highway, and that John Lennon story as written by me, along with my stories about playing with Chuck Berry, playing with Jerry Lee, and all these other people's stories. She solicited stories from everybody. There's a long story by the Jugaloo who's the band that has the Jugaloos or the Followers?
Insane Clown Posse.
Insane Clown Posse.
You're good, Corey. So you remember.
They write very lucidly about what it's like to be in the Insane Clown Posse.
I thought that was Ralph Nader.
Hey, Scott, I want to ask you a question. When the show came along, Bowser, John Bauman, right? He became the breakout star, but he wasn't originally in the group.
Correct.
And
he joined after me. He joined when Alan Cooper left in the summer of 70. Again, Henry Gross and Joe Whitkin left in March. We went over this while you were away, Corey.
Yeah, we got to do the show over for Corey. It's okay. It's okay.
Start over for Corey.
Yeah, we'll edit this out and Corey.
So that piano player and the lead guitar player left the band. I joined as a piano player. A guy named Billy Cross, who later played with Dylan, very nice guy, filled in on guitar until we finally came to Vinnie Taylor, but that's another story. And Alan Cooper was class of 71, not class of 70. So he had one more year to go to Columbia, and he had promised his girlfriend, listen to this, Miranda. The guy who sang At the Hop in the movie Woodstock, the most visually famous guy in the band, along with the 3 gold dancers, had promised to take his girlfriend to Europe. Nice Jewish girl. He was a nice Jewish boy. She said, "You're not staying with the band. You promised me Europe." Yoko.
To bring it back to Yoko.
So he left. Bauman joined June 1st. He had been a basso profundo glee clubber, and Gino Elliott Kahn, at the time the musical director when the band started, said, "I know this guy. You only wanted Columbia guys. You wanted me, and you wanted Billy Cross, who was at Columbia. You only wanted your own people. You didn't want to venture into the real world. God knows what those people are like. Real musicians." So Bauman was from Columbia. I was from Columbia. Billy Cross was from Columbia. Everybody that came into the band at that time, except that Jocko knew Lenny Baker, who had played with the Pilgrims, big sax player.
Yeah.
Big personality, great sax player, great singer.
Mm-hmm.
My own brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law, who would come see the band at the Fillmore West because he lived in the Bay Area. The only guy he liked, and he would tell me this, I like Lenny. Lenny's the real thing, which we weren't. We were posers. We were Ivy League guys. We had IQs above 102.
Did you guys, though, resent the fact that this Johnny Come Lately guy gets all the fame, and now he's the one who won't come back and reunite with you guys?
That's a false premise statement.
Go
Corey.
ahead.
One of your questions. This is one of your questions you don't know how to ask.
Yeah,
Bauman
that's
left-
right. Get
You
him.
know exactly who Corey is. Good
I
job,
told,
Scott.
I told him before the show. That's it. Yeah.
He outed him.
Oh, okay.
Bauman left the group in 1983 saying to Lenny, "You guys are ruining my show. This is a 10-man act. You guys are ruining my show." And he went off to be on Match Game PM and a VH1 jock.
Mm-hmm.
And by 9 months later, he was in Atlantic City with the Bowser Rock and Roll Review doing his own thing. He was too big for the group. Maybe you heard of David Lee Roth. Maybe you heard of
David
1,000
Caruso.
other people I could name. You know, that the group goes on within him and without him, but he hasn't been in Sha Na Na for 37 years. He was only in the group for 12 years. So there was a life left in the group without the Bowser character. He took the Bowser character, we took the group. And that was fine. You know, somebody had the nature of the beast is somebody's the leader. Usually it's the guy with the biggest mouth.
Yeah.
The biggest mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a good picture of you guys with Lenny right there.
Lenny could sing his ass off.
There he is right
Sing
there.
a ballad, the great Lenny Baker.
Yeah.
He passed away a few years ago at age 70, saying, "If I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself."
Really? That's what he said. Wow. Mm.
That's a
Wow.
rather poignant story. How can we get out of that, Corey?
Yeah, Corey.
Question.
Yeah, Corey. Give another question where he could get
Bring
you
us
now.
another question that will give us a.
Look right here. Look at there's the gold lame boots in that picture right there. at the
Get
bottom.
that album. I have 5 songs on the reverse side. Half was done at Columbia University, the Gold Boots album. Half was a live show produced by Eddie Kramer, Jimi Hendrix's producer.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And
Led
we went
Zeppelin's
to
engineer, too.
Land to do the other side, which is original. Jocko has a song on there, and I have 5 songs on there. Only One Song in the World was a single. Top 40 of the Lord was single. They weren't oldies at all. They were original modern songs. But nobody wanted to hear original modern songs and make us hit records. And Buddha Records was not too happy about that, but we kept making 3 albums every 18 months. That's what the contract called for.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Wow.
That's what we did.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were busy too. With the TV show, how did that
That's
come up?
later.
Later on, how did that, yeah,
We
I was
were
going to ask you.
records.
I wanted to ask you later on, moving. How did that come upon you guys with the TV show? Because you guys were doing a lot of, playing all this. Tell us a little about that? How that all became into your life?
There was a thing on television called Prime Access, 7:30 to 8 p.m. Family half hour lead into prime time, where they wanted family. They wanted Wheel of Fortune. They were mostly game shows, but Pierre Cassette, who had come to Hollywood from Quebec as Anne Margaret's agent, had Andy Williams, 24 episodes, half-hour episodes. Procter and Gamble would own 3 minutes of the commercials, and they'd offer the show to local syndicators. And you can sell the other 3 minutes. We'll give you the show for free. It was called barter syndication. They invented it around our TV show. Andy Williams' show didn't really work out for Andy. Andy was a primetime 1-hour guy, now reduced to a half an hour in prime access. Wrong thing. So our manager at the time, Ron Weisner, after trying to get the Beach Boys, Fanny, all these, an all-girls band, Miranda, look up Fanny. Look up Fanny.
I will.
Trying to find a family appeal, and P&G, the whole point of their show was sell their products on our show to female heads of household 19 to 36 years old. That's the demo. That's that demo. We were healthy young men, about 28 to 32 years old. Look at us, we're gorgeous. So thank you, Miranda, for that look. And the point was, can we sell soap? If we can sell soap, that's fine. So they soon found by the second season that along with the oldies, the acts that we brought back who hadn't been seen, and nobody had seen these guys in 15 years, Freddie Cannon, Bobby V, Chuck Berry.
That's
Chubby
wild.
Checker. You can look through our list of guests. We had everybody. Rusty Springfield, Leslie Gore. It goes on and on and on. We also started having country acts because they found Procter & Gamble from Cincinnati, Ohio. That Midwestern, we weren't really a coastal thing. We were from the streets of New York, but the people that were buying into the show were much more Ohio, Kentucky. And so they brought on Charlie Pride, Conway Twitty, Barbara Mandrell. We had all the Dottie West. We had all the country stars on, guests on our show. Imagine that.
Great.
There's a Sha Na Na story.
Teresa Brewer. Do you even know who that is?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah. Great. It was a great show. It was a great show. You had a lot of great fun guests. There was so many all the time. It was a variety of guests, but it's great to hear it now and the commercials, how much I had to play into it, with the guests. Chuck Berry, I want to know about this.
Yes.
Chuck Berry comes. I want to hear the story about Chuck Berry when you got the jam with him and all that.
It wasn't a jam. I mean, basically, the way the TV show was constructed, if you had a 3-minute record, Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive.
Disco, yeah.
Fantastic.
Now, they didn't bring their tracks. They didn't bring their bands. The Ramones brought their band, but Gloria Gaynor brought Gloria Gaynor and her conductor. And he came to the way that most music is done for film and TV is you pre-record the tracks, you pre-record the background vocals. That's one track. The other track is the lead vocalist who's going to be seen singing live. You don't want him lip syncing. That's people singing along to their records was what made Dick Clark's show so boring. When a guest would come on, they'd play the record and the guy's lip syncing. But I have news for you. When John Travolta sings Sandy, he was lip syncing too. They can't risk the video on the audio. So when Leslie Gore came on to sing You Don't Own Me, who's the guest this week? Leslie Gore. Here's your sheet music. And the musical directors of our show, Ray Charles, not the blind Ray Charles, the deaf Ray Charles. And his
James
son,
Brown was great.
and his son, John Charles, would come on and say, here's Leslie Gore's sheet music. You got to play this. And we'd have to play it. When Chuck Berry came on, which was your question, and Chuck Berry's coming on the show to sing Roll Over Beethoven, judged by Rolling Stone, one of his top 10 performances ever videoed, Roll Over Beethoven with Sha Na Na. They didn't trust Chuck, and they were right not to conform to a pre-recorded track. Now you're going to do a verse. Now you're going to do an instrumental. You're going to do your record, right? But you're not going to tell Chuck Berry what to play and when to play it. You're going to say, Chuck, try to keep it under 3 minutes. And so there was a live piano. I'm playing live piano on that track. I'm playing my ass up on that track. It's for Chuck.
Wow.
So with Chuck and Bo Diddley, the other act, that you couldn't count on Bo to know he was going to play 18 bars of dunk, dunk, dunk. Okay, Chuck, 4 more bars. Oh, you gotta go to the verse now, Chuck.
Yeah.
I mean, Bo. No. Those are the only 2 acts that played live music.
James Brown didn't play live?
No, he played to track, and in fact, he gave Jocko the biggest compliment of his life because James sent his sheet music. I mean, James knew about bars of music and how many bars of music are in the intro and how many bars of music are to the verse. And he knew exactly. He did. I don't know. I can't remember the cut that he did with us. Yeah. But if he was going to sing I Feel Good, he was going to sing the record.
Yeah.
And that's what he did with us, whatever song he sang. James comes on the set. Here's James Brown. I'm comping organ because, again, you're not seeing me play live. You're just seeing me play along to the track and look like I'm playing live. I'm on stage. James, just before he went on to do the actual taping, listens to the track, looks up, says, who's the drummer? Jocko starts shaking in his boots because somehow out of all this whole track, James has a question about the drumming. Who's the drummer? That guy. Not me, James. It's that guy. Looks at Jocko, says, solid.
Wow.
Awesome.
And Jocko will tell that story. If he were here, he'd tell you the James.
I wish he was here. Yeah, that's
If only he were.
In any case,
yeah.
when you see James Brown and you're 4 feet, and I've seen him many times live in my life, but when you're 4 feet away from him, I'm literally at the organ, and he's literally on the other side of the organ. When he hits his dance move, it's like a revelation. It's like being behind the magician, watching the magician do his trick. So he was a notable. I mean, how many people have had James Brown, Chuck Berry, guests on our show, the Ramones, and people said, "Oh, jump the shark." The Ramones. That wasn't believable that Sha Na Na had the Ramones on. What do you mean? They're wearing black leather jackets and blue jeans. And what are you talking about? So, we were a variety show that hosted the very top stars in our field, and they were guests on our show. And then we'd go out and play with them at Rich Nader's Rock and Roll Revivals.
Yeah. Good old Ralph. Yeah.
Can I ask, are these shows available to purchase or watch?
Say it again.
Are these shows
They're all
available
on
to
YouTube.
watch again? Yeah, all on YouTube?
Every
One of them.
thing.
Fantastic. Well,
That's it, Miranda. We gotta bring you back to rock and roll high school right there. That's
pretty
rock-
much. I need to get. Well, obviously, I need a better education on a lot of things.
Which is what
but-
the Ramones did on the Sha Na Na show. They did play that song with Phil Spector album.
I've heard from several people, if not for that film clip, you would not find any film on the Ramones.
There's something that Sha Na Na did, it was 2 years ago, that it struck me as really cool. When the 50th anniversary Woodstock Festival was being put together, they didn't think of asking you there.
No, Corey.
They go get him.
Negativity, Corey.
It
Corey,
was
here's what
Robert
happened.
Plant,
Let
Imagine
me tell
Dragons.
let me tell you what happened.
I muted him. Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
There's an amphitheater built in Bethel. It seats 2,000 covered seats and Hillside for 20,000 seats. It's a big shed, what we call in the industry a shed. And to fill that shed, you need acts that can fill that shed. They have a performing arts center inside the museum at Bethel that seats 400 people. They invited us to play. In fact, we were the first people to play June 3rd, 2019. 50 years later, we played to a sold-out house inside the museum. We spent the day in the museum. Donnie York, our third original member, owns the Wurlitzer piano. He's just recently sold it. That was in the museum. The original Wurlitzer piano that was used by the band to play at the Woodstock Festival was sitting in the museum. And we spent the whole day there, had a great sold out show, and it was just beautiful. And everybody, and you can appreciate this stuff. Everybody in that audience, and Bethel, as you know, Hudson River, is 90 miles from the city. It's not the city, it's the Hudson River Valley. Completely different kettle of fish. But who lives there? New Yorkers. And a lot of them had been at Woodstock 50 years previous, and they came out again. And it was a great show.
Well, no, my point was that you weren't asked to be on the main stage.
I had to mute him. I'm sorry. I got to mute him. Look at him. I don't want him to offend nobody because it's such a
No,
great
the show
story.
was canceled. The show ended up being
What are you
canceled.
fighting? Miranda, you see this?
They moved it to Maryland. It was canceled because he kept thinking it's got to be modern acts.
Oh,
But
you're
that
not
was
talking
ridiculous.
about Bethel. Hold it. You're not
No,
talking.
I'm not.
Hold it. You're
Stop
talking
muting me. I'll fucking
I'm
leave.
sorry.
We didn't mute you this time.
Nobody muted you,
Mention the name
Corey.
of the producer. Mention the name of the producer of that show.
He's a dick. I don't know what his name is.
He's the original guy.
No, not that one. The guy who took it over.
Corey's like, I think Corey's having a nervous breakdown on the air. This
This
is
is
like
fun to
Mary
watch.
Hartman.
Michael something.
Yes, Michael. He was the original guy.
Okay, not him.
Look it up.
Corey, you're having a nervous breakdown on the air. Let's
The
look.
point
Let's
is this. The point is this. We knew from day one that and everybody knew. Everybody around Bethel, New York knew. They didn't have it together. They didn't have it together at the first Woodstock. They didn't have it together to have enough porta potties for 60,000 people to camp out. This was a fantasy land production. Give me the name, Jim. Come on, we got to call him out.
go, Corey.
I
Go.
forgot.
You're
I
yelling on
forgot.
the air. You're
It's
cursing.
been 2 years.
Oh, hold on. Let me interrupt. You're yelling on the air. You're having a little tantrum, Corey. This is why.
My point was that
This
they
is
should have
why
been
you're-
asked to be on main stage. Instead, they
All
had bands like Imagine
Go ahead.
We
Dragons.
knew there was no main stage to be had. We knew that event was not going to take place. We were in the inner circle of people who knew about what Woodstock 50 meant. And people in that inner circle knew that this dream of the Speedway out in Western New York,
Right.
we played that casino in March of that year. There was no way. It was all a phantom dream, and they never had the right permits. They never had housing for 60,000 people for a weekend. They never had any of that. It was all a wet dream, and it was never going to happen. And we grabbed the museum. We grabbed Bethel and playing at the site of Woodstock. Where do you hold the 50th reunion? 80 miles away in Plattsburgh?
Right. And that was the only show that actually went off, and it was perfect, and it was karma.
It was meant to be. I agree.
That was my whole point.
Right. But the point was at Bethel, with 400 seaters, they had almost every act that was still around and performing come in on Saturday, June 3rd, Saturday, June 10th. They booked the whole summer, one act at a time.
They did. They did one act at a time. I still think they could have done the original acts together in one place. I mean,
We
if
did
they had
that in
the shit
1994, which no one even knew about because they were holding the other Woodstock
together.
up in Saugerties that was set fire to
Yeah, right.
and with all kinds of mayhem. There
Horrible.
was an event. Sid Bernstein was initially involved, the Beatles guy,
Yeah, the promoter.
and eventually was taken over by Melody and the late great Richie Havens. And we played there on the original site on the 25th anniversary weekend. Nobody knew about it. No tickets were sold. The local Catskill hotels gave us the rooms. First time I ever met Country Joe, we were rooming next door to each other. We stayed up all night.
That's great. Yeah, I have somebody who wants to meet you, Screamin Scott, a friend of mine. Sorry about Corey over there. Corey, you all right? Feeling better?
I'm fine.
All
I got my point.
Find Michael's name. Find Michael's name.
Yeah, go Google his name. I'm going to bring up a special guest. I'll bring you back, Corey. Go ahead. Find the name. Do something good. Yeah, sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a producer, a friend of mine, Ed Stasium, right here. I don't know if you
Uncle
guys know
Ed.
Hi, Miranda.
Hi.
ADIKA.
Ed, I've heard your name many times.
Ed.
Scott, we work together. on this
Yes.
record.
All right. Okay.
Hold that record up for a second.
Yeah, Sha Na Na. Our disco record.
The disco record that Tony Camello produced.
Tony
Disco
Camillo.
record that I
You
was a
engineer.
staff engineer.
Yeah.
Yep. Screamin
Yeah.
Scott Stevens. And we also did, we went into Media Sound and did a song called Still Smoking.
Yes, before our Japanese tour, we toured with the Downtown Boogie Woogie Band, who had a huge in Japan.
Yeah.
Smoking boogie. Subatu.
Yeah. And Buddha stiffed me on that. He never paid me.
Okay, Ed, I'm going to one-up you right now.
Yeah, baby.
I'm going to one-up you, okay? I had 12 songs that I wrote and owned the publishing to on 4 Buddha Kama Sutra label releases
Yeah.
that between them sold over 20 copies.
Yeah, baby.
They never paid me a dime.
Wow.
the record biz. What a fantastic time it was. I might say.
Well,
But, Scott, it's good to see you. Wow.
too, it's been a long
40,
time. I knew I
40,
recognized your name. I knew I recognized your name.
Yeah, 46 years.
No, we did that album in 76.
74. We did it in 74. It was released in 75.
Okay.
I was out of there by 70. I was out of there by November of
You were
75.
a Tony Camillo guy or you were a Buddha guy?
I was a Tony Camello guy.
Okay.
I was a kid. I just started engineering. And Tony Camello had the connection with Neil Bogart. And, Tony produced Midnight Train to Georgia and several other Gladys Knight songs.
Neil, in the meantime, moved to L.A. and started Casablanca.
That is correct.
And left Buddha in the hands of Art Cass, who'd been really the accountant. He was an accountant.
Yeah, I did not know Neil that well. No, not at all. Yeah, man. Yeah, I thought Jocko was going to be here.
Jocko, Corey's still working on that. Let's find out what the status is on that. Corey, how's
Jocko's
Jocko
not going to
doing?
be here.
How's Jocko doing now? Corey?
Jocko's not going to be here.
All right. I know you're very frustrated today, Corey. You did a you get excited. It's
well,
okay.
This is what happens when you coach the guest that I've got this.
Hold on. See what happens, Screamin Scott. Corey.
I've got this co-host who's an idiot.
Corey, his therapist.
Everything he says.
Corey's therapist fired him, so he's having a problem right now in real life. So, but it's going to be okay, right, Corey?
I'm sorry I beat up on your Corey, but Stefan set me up.
I know, of course he did.
Hi, Corey. Hi, Corey.
How about this, Stefan? Every time I bring a guest on, I'm not going to give you the number. I'm not going to give you the fucking phone number. I'm just going to have them come on through me.
Look, he needs a new therapist. See, hold on. Angry host goes on YouTube right here. Look, angry
I know what happened.
What happened? What happened?
He said, it's really funny. He's a journalist, but he gets everything wrong. I want you to yell at him. It's cool.
Who was the Woodstock producer?
Yeah, who was the Woodstock producer?
Michael Lang.
Michael Lang, yeah. Michael Lang and Artie Kornfeld. Kornfeld. Artie
Kornfeld
Kornfeld.
was involved with Buddha Records too. Artie Kornfeld.
Yeah. And the fellows who put up the money for Woodstock were John Roberts, and they also started Media Sound.
Yeah.
ADIKA.
I'm
Hi, guys.
busy laughing at Corey because the poor guy. I'm looking at the comments. Corey's getting crazy. The poor guy just lost his therapist. The therapist fired him, and he's having a hard time. Right? Look at, and I don't know if Screamin Scott knows about Corey's problem, but I'm going to explain to you right now, Scott. Bear with me a second. Corey has a little problem over here, and he's a good guy. He just gets a little crazy. I don't even know what Carzilla is. I think I got rid of it. But Corey, we love you. It's going to be okay.
I know.
All right. You say you're sorry now, Scott. All right. You feel better? You got it out? You out of your system, Corey?
Don't brainwash the guests that I bring on.
All right.
Brainwash your own guests that you bring on.
All right. You're very upset.
Okay. No, Corey, he set me up. I love you.
I know.
I think whatever's happened that's going badly in your life, it will turn around on
Everything.
February 21st. Everything's going to take a sharp left turn.
Thank you. Is left up or is left down?
There's sentience. I like it.
Scott's good with Corey. He could help him out.
You're really good.
You want to be my therapist, Screamin Scott Simon?
Ha! Don't do it.
I just did it. Wait a second. Don't I get acknowledgement for what I just did? I just did it. I'm done with you, man. I'm done. We're done here.
We're done here. This is it. This is the whole interview. You know, Scott, this has been a fun time with you hanging out here. And Corey, it's been an incredible time with you as well today. Always good with Mr. Ed Stasium, our friend, and Miranda.
Yeah, look, I'm having coffee instead of a martini. How do you like that?
It's
Aaron.
He was here. Jocko was here, but next time we're going to prepare it a little better. We'll do a day before, and we'll work out the glitches and all that stuff, and we'll bring Jocko back. And also
stories. Otherwise, we step on each other's stories anyway. So this is This was meant to be this way.
It was meant to be this way. And you know what, Corey? It also was good for you to get out today, your tantrums and anything else.
Shut up. You set me up.
No, I didn't. You want to say goodbye to everybody? You want to say goodbye
Bye,
to everybody?
Okay. Yeah, Jeff talking, Eddie.
It's coffee time.